Hey, Mr. Miyagi-Style. I'm going to do something different this time. No cameras. I'm going to do some drone stuff because I've been playing around with my drones. I'm going away, as you guys know. Unfortunately, with all the laws that are in Thailand and Malaysia right now, they're really tacking down on drones. And you know, I was going to bring my drone, the DJI Mini 3 Pro, to Thailand with me, but I kind of thought against it just because, first of all, the bulk. I have to pack light for this trip, and I'm already packing my camera and my diving gear. I will be bringing my Hover Air X1 just because it's nice and small. It's foldable. I don't need a controller for it. I can just use my phone to do a control, and I can get a good distance. The one thing about the Hover Air X1 Pro is that the manual controls on the phone is so much better than the original X1. It actually works like a drone when you're controlling it, very much like the RC DJI. I'm gonna focus on a little bit later on. I did a test today, and I can get about maximum 50 meters with just my phone, and that's really all I need for the shots that I want to do. And I have to get it up and down quickly. And I was ready to get my license there, but unfortunately, with the time frame, it takes a while to get your license. You have to get two. You have to register your drone. You have to get a license to fly. And on top of that, you have to be insured for your drone in Thailand, separate insurance. So I kind of hum and haw about it. And I contacted the company that does all this. And they said, well, because of the short period of time I'm going to be there, even if we do it, pre-approve it, you may not get it on time to actually fly. And I've wasted all that money because it costs about $100 US to do it. That's including the registration. They do it for you, including the application. You have to do a written test when you get there, and then the insurance as well. So anyways, long story short, I just kind of decided against it. So I'm not going to be bringing my Mini 3 Pro. I wish I did, because I could get some really good aerial shots, but I did some testing with the Hover Air X1 Pro today, and I got a good distance up high. I got about 30 meters up, 30 to 40 meters up, and I got about 50 meters away just by using the transmission on my phone. So that's my limit, which is fine. 50 meters is quite long, enough for me to get a good scenic shot of around surrounding areas, the resort, that kind of thing. That said, you guys know that I love drones. I have a lot of DJI drones. I've got the Neo, which I am trying to learn how to fly FPV, and I end up getting the Avata 2. So I want to learn how to fly FPV so that on the Neo, because you can do it with the goggles that came with the Avata 2 and the motion controller, and I also invested in the FPV RC controller. I just haven't had time to do it. Probably won't be till the summer when I start picking it up. Once I learn how to do it on the Neo, I'm gonna start flying FPV on the Avata 2. So stay tuned for that one. It's gonna be later on in the year. We'll get to it when I get to it, if I get to it. Threw lots of money at DJI. Oh, this is expensive. And then I went and bought this. That's not cheap. This thing is like almost $300 Canadian for this thing. On top of my Avata 2, the goggles, it's just money. Throw it away. But I get that fun. I get some good footage, and that's the fun part. This is the one I'm concentrating on. All right, guys. There's been a couple of videos concerning the remote control, the different kind of remote controls for this drone. Now, I still have the Mini 3 Pro, and I still love it. It's probably my favorite drone of all of them, just because it's just the quality on this thing is just phenomenal. You've seen some night footage that I've taken with this, like in pitch black, dark, and it's just incredible. The difference between the Mini 3 Pro and the 4 Pro is not a lot, not enough for me to spend that kind of money again and upgrade. So if you have the Mini 3 Pro, and the difference, really, the only big difference is the 04 transmission on the Mini 4 Pro, and you can do 100 frames per second, and the sensors are a little bit better. It's omni sensor as opposed to triple directional sensors on the Mini 3 Pro. Those are the only differences. The battery life is actually a little bit better on the Mini 3 Pro. Not much, nothing to hum and haw about. But for me to, like, when I bought this Mini 3 Pro, I got the Fly More combo. with the DJI Carefresh, it set me back about $1,000 Canadian, pretty much. You know, I'm not gonna spend that much again for the Mi 4, just so I can have those couple options, which is not a big deal. I think it shoots what, 4K 100 frames. This one should shoot 4K, maximum 60 frames. The O4 transmission is the biggest, I think, the biggest upgrade. The nice thing about the Mi 4 is that with the O4, I can actually use my other controllers, the compatible controllers with it, I think. Which sucks because the controllers that I have for the DJI Mini 3 Pro, I can't use with the Neo or the Avata 2. I wish they just make it backwards compatible. I know it's O4, O3, big difference, but there's no reason why the O4 can't go back and use O3 products. It's like Bluetooth, you know, a USB. The higher the USB, can you still be backwards compatible? You're just tunneling down, right? I think they do that for a reason. They don't want you to do it. They want you to go buy a new drone. That's what I'm guessing, anyways. I could be wrong, but you guys tell me. I'm not technical with drone technology, but I think I can understand O3 not being able to use O4, but O4 not being able to go backwards is kind of silly, right? But anyways, the reason why I did this video is I don't want this to be too long. Of course, it'll be long. There's a couple of videos of I just ended up buying the RC controller. Okay, this is the RC, not the RC2, with the display. And I had the RCN1 for the longest time. This is the one I bought with the bundle, and they both have really good pros and cons. But the one that I'll be using the most is going to be the display one, just because for me to mount the phone on and all that stuff, and you'll see it doesn't really it's not really that much time difference between the two. It's a little bit faster with this one. It's more the convenience of having the RC as opposed to the RCN1, because the RCN1 you have to stretch it out, you have to get that phone in, and my phone just, I have the Pixel 7, and they put the power button at the very top, and the volume buttons, I think, no, yeah, top button at the very top, and the volume, it's like flipped. And these claws that come down, they actually pinch those buttons. So when I put it down, it actually activates, the volume goes down. And I have to push, I have to take my phone. So this is the Pixel 7. I have to like lopside the phone so it's off tilted, so it doesn't press the buttons, because it's right in the middle, right, the buttons. So and the claws will actually press the buttons. That's another thing. It's a pain in the ass, because there's been times where I'm putting it on, I turn off my phone, and the volume went up or down, and it's just a pain in the butt. And the cable, you have to flip it out, plug it in. You'll see the comparison, what you have to do to get this started, and what this has to do, what I have to do with this to get started. There's really no work. I just turn this on, and I'm ready to go. I don't have to fiddle around with cables and phones and stuff like that. There was a lot of people are saying that the RC2 is faster to get started. It's not really. It's a few seconds faster, and there's people that have been debunking it, and that's fine. I did a field test coming out of bag and what I do and that kind of thing, right? It's almost the same time for the two. The reason why is because the RCN1, you're plugged into a phone that's already booted up and on. Every time you turn the RC on, it's actually booting up Android. That's why it takes so long, right? And it's still pretty fast. It takes literally a minute for me to get it up. Both of these takes about a minute for me to get up in the air coming out of the bag. People were comparing the two. Okay, I'll start this one, which is, of course, this is going to be faster because you're plugging into an operating system that's already turned on and booted up. I'll bet you if you take your phone and you plug this in, you start up your Android phone, it would take about the same time as this one to boot up, because this is actually booting up from start. No, too much stuff. So the biggest advantage of the two is this is bigger because it does have the display. I love the display on this. It's really nice, and I get to control everything that on my thumb on the display. And this is very balanced, whereas this one, the phone is at the very top, so I'm actually off balance. So it's not, and you have, if you have to activate anything, you have to take your hand off the controller and activate the top on the screen. So that's an inconvenience as well. And this one, you just use your thumb to do your navigation, right? The screen is really nice on this. The disadvantage of the RC is that you can't use a larger screen, whereas this one I can plug in my tablet onto this thing. I have a rig, but it's massive. Like this thing's huge, right? So that's the advantage of the RCN1. The RCN1 also, when you pull this out, it's actually acting as an antenna. It has a longer range than the RC, which is not a big deal for me because some people might. The RC2 has improved that because they have the flip up antennas on the RC2. But unfortunately, you can't use the RC2 for older generation Mini 3, Mini 3 Pros, right? Because it's an 04 remote. I can use it for my Avata 2, I think, or any 04 drones. I just can't use it for 03 drone. Again, if they made it backwards compatible, I would have splurged and bought the RC2. Then I can use it for all my drones rather than now I have like 500 controllers, right? I actually bought this because originally I thought I was going to go to take this with me to travel with me to Thailand. I bought this as a convenience, so I'm not fiddling around with my phone and that kind of thing, right? But then I decided not to. But I got this used, and the person who I got it from was a local guy. This controller in Canada still sells for about $450 Canadian, brand new. I ended up buying this for I think it's a little bit over half price. So and this thing is like, I think he only used it once. It's brand spanking new. So great deal for me. And I got both controllers. It's kind of nice because I have two controllers, and if I want the distance, I can go to the RCN1, or if I want a larger display, I can go with the RCN1. I wish the RC could connect separately into a larger display. That would be nice, like just an out port. I don't think it can. Not that I've done my research. To go into like a 12-inch tablet or a 10-inch tablet. I've got this kind of, it looked gorgeous when a 10-inch tablet, right? I just like the single unit. I don't have to fiddle around with a phone, that kind of thing. And the other thing that some people don't mention is when you have your phone plugged into this thing and you're using it, you have to pretty much put it on Do Not Disturb. And a lot of times when I'm out flying my drone, I have my phone with me, and I want my phone, if somebody needs, my kids need to call me or my wife needs to call me, I can still access the phone and use my phone and still have the drone flying. Whereas on this one, you can't do that. You can't use your phone while you're using the remote control, right? Because when a notification comes, it actually takes out the DJI Fly screen. Now you're blind, right? And you got to fiddle around to get rid of that screen. The notification is a pain in the butt, and I won't turn it on. Some people will, and that's fine if you want to use it without your notification on. That's on you. But for me, that's an inconvenience. They're both excellent controllers. This is smaller. I like this one for the two macro keys in the back. That's really cool to be able to program those two macro keys. And I find the controls a little bit easier to navigate with my fingers, that I'm not taking my hands off the controller as much as I do with this one. Because every time I need to access, let's say if I need to do any special effects, any subject tracking, like I have to take my hand off the controller and do it on my phone screen. Whereas this, I can just use my thumb and do it, and I don't have to take my hands off. So that's a convenience as well. But for some people, it's not a deal breaker, and some people like using their phone. That's fine. Having the screen is just nice. I don't have my phone stays in my pocket. I don't have to deal with that. And you can do screen captures on this, which is really cool. Unfortunately, it's not high. I think it's only at 720p, and that's it. The other thing that you could do with this one is you can actually plug in. I can plug in my DJI Mini mic onto this, and I can record my audio from the mic and do a screenshot, so I can kind of commentate while I'm flying. And I can have the video of the screen video and release it that way. So that's kind of cool that you can do that. So there are some really neat features with the RC, and there are some really nice features with the RCN1. I was going to sell the RCN1, but I think I might just keep it just as a backup. And if for any reason I need that range, the longer range, I can just pull out the RCN1 and use the RCN1 if I need to. And the battery on this is a bit better because it's not powering a screen. The screen on this is really nice to be able to swipe down. I wish they allow you to kind of do a little bit more because it is Android based, the OS. I wish they would let you kind of sideload apps on this. That'd be kind of, I think there is a way to do it. Somebody found a hack, you can hack it to sideload. But I don't know, it'd be kind of cool. Anyways, that's it. And the comparison is just out of the bag, which is the time comparison for me to get this started up and the drone ready to fly, as well as the RC. So if you guys have any questions about these drones or the controllers, again, guys, this is personal preference. I really like this for just the screen and just one piece. I don't have to fiddle around with my phone. And I love the RCN1 for the range and the larger screen capabilities on the RCN1. But DJI, please, if you can, if you're watching this or you even care, it'd be nice to have 04 backwards compatible to 03 stuff, so that I can maybe use my motion controller on the DJI Mini 3 or even the goggles on it. That'd be nice. I doubt they're gonna do that. So anyways, I'm off to Vancouver next week to see my dad. So I'll be there for a few days. I don't think I'll get a video out before then. When I get back, I'll probably launch another video, hopefully, and before I head out to my big trip in April. Enjoy. Hope this wasn't too long, and hope you learned something from this. Have a great one. Respect. Ciao.